Welcome back, audience. After a significant pause, we're back again. Yet again, me talking and sending a message, I suppose. But as always, a good one. I wanted to talk about. This is a good one. All right, where do I begin? So, okay, communication with the universe, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, right? Why it doesn't normally listen to you? For example, something is happening and you're saying, I don't want that. And you're saying no uh, with passion, right? Because the more you don't want it, the more passionate the no is going to be, right? But what happens after? You seem to receive more of the same. And then just keep on saying that passionate no, and it keeps on happening. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And so, I mean, if you really become passionate about the no, then you end up in big time conflicts and downward spiral. Okay? So there's an art in saying no in a way that the universe understands. And it's not the language, it's not the sounds that you make with your mouth. No, you know? And it also not the passion that you have when you're saying no. Because the passion says yes. The language of the universe is primordial language of the universe, let's just say, is yes and no. Right? You if you strip off everything and you boil down to just the most simple elements of your consciousness, you will find that there's just two states, if you will. You can call them states. And one is compassion or love or this stillness, silence that everybody's talking about. And another one is passion, thrill, ecstasy. That one says yes, and compassion says no. Compassion says no, passion says yes. Okay? And we all have that primordial navigation system, if you will. And so actually to say no to something that you don't want, which may be counterintuitive, you say it with compassion. Let's say something happens that you don't want, and a trigger happens, right? And you get triggered and you get as passionate about it, and you're very actively saying no, you're creating more of it. You see it everywhere then, you know, even though it doesn't really exist, you start seeing when it doesn't exist. That's what happens with the passion. So what do we do instead? If you see something that you don't want, instead of going, you motherfuckers, you know, whatever, and having the passion about saying no, if you really want to communicate and say to the universe, this is something I want less in my life, this is not what I want, then the way you say it is you focus on the thing that normally creates lots of passion, and you move it into silence. Hold that thing, whatever you don't like, and find peace about it. And know for a fact that you're saying no to this. There's you're moving from something that you don't want, and instead of having a passionate response, you throw some water into that fire, because water says no, fire says yes, and so then you move into that peace. And you hold this something in your mind that was triggering the crap out of you, and now you just feel peace about it. You have sent the message to the universe to say that I want less of it, because you don't have any reactivity about it anymore. Because if you still do have reactivity, it will manifest the same thing, because your reactivity is what creates the event, right? But if you don't have reactivity no more to the thing you don't want, and you just have like this peace and quiet about it, it's a very strong signal. The more you have stillness about it, the stronger is the silencing of that spell. Because in silence, there's no sound. If there's no sound, there's no spell. If there's no spell, there's no story that you don't want. The silence is your shield against something that you don't want in your life. But what do we normally do? We get so passionate about saying that no. No, over my dead body, no. You know? But you see, and sometimes we think like, well, if I'm just gonna relax and I'm just gonna feel peace about it, then I'm gonna create more. But no, the fallacy is that you are start creating less of that. That's how it works. We're using it backwards, and by using it backwards, we create the blossoming of the tree of knowledge, which is ego. Whereas we're supposed to be doing is blossoming the soul, which is the tree of life. There's two directions, and depending on how you use your consciousness, you're moving into one direction or the other direction. It really is that simple. And then when you get to the point of that stillness about the thing that you don't want, then all that passion that is still, potentially there, but no longer about that thing, you can use it for something that you do want. You say like, well, that thing was like that, I don't want it, and now I feel peace about that thing. What do I want? Of course, you need to see the other side of it and say, well, if I don't want, let's say, this scenario in my life, it means that I really, really want the other one, the opposite of that. And you focus on that opposite of that with passion. And you become passionate about that thing that you do want in your life, and compassionate about the thing that you don't want about in your life. That, my friends, is the highest point of leverage. You can speak about this in many different ways, I'm speaking one particular way right now, but the model of the consciousness, how things work, it's always the same. It's very lawful and very mathematical. It's a beautiful math. So, yeah, the message is pretty simple. Say no to compassion, say yes with passion. That energy is how the universe understands your communication. Okay? So, chill your balls about things that you don't want, and set them up on fire about the things that you do want. And see what happens. Peace. See you in the next one.